Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say, Call Halal, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. That's all praises to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son. Luke 23:28. But Yahweh Shai, turning unto them, said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign, and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So the Most High God, when he put on the curses upon us as a people, as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, in Deuteronomy 28th chapter, he said these curses will be upon us, pursue us, and overtake us, and remain on our seed forever until we were delivered. Oftentimes, us here in America, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, focus on the different oppressions and atrocities that are committed against us here in the United States of America, sometimes neglecting the hells that our brothers are going through elsewhere in the diaspora. In today's lesson, we want to focus on is our brothers in Guyana in South America, chiefly the tribe of Benjamin that is scattered down there, as well as some of the indigenous Indians that are there, which are the tribe of Asher, and the oppression and the racial conflicts that are taking place between them and the Edomites, and chiefly the Elamites, or the East Indians, or the Coolies, if you would, that are there and running that country. You know, the people who have become the elite of that country. All right, the strangers that were within, that got up above our people and oppress our people there. Okay, I want to focus on a young brother who was murdered by cops, and a couple other young brothers that were with him, his comrades, who were beaten by the cops and threatened by the cops and locked up by the cops, and the protest that came after that. Okay, this is actually an event that occurred back in 2012. But us here in America, we didn't hear about this. You see what I'm saying? We have to. It is our duty with the technology that the Most High God has blessed us to have and take advantage of in this time, to do our best to see what's happening to our brothers all around the world, and bring to light all the atrocities that are being committed against the 12 tribes of Israel.
The police and the Agricola residents are giving two different versions of the shooting death of 17-year-old Shaquille Grant. Grant was reportedly shot in the face and chest in what the police are saying was a confrontation. But residents in the area said that a group of young men were lining under this shed in 3rd Street when the police came up from the alley in 2nd Street and started shooting. For security reasons, the residents were reluctant to go on camera.
I heard the gunshots. When I looked out, I saw a set of police, and they had these boys lie down. All these boys lie down. Then they claim how to find some gun. Then you hear a gunshot again, and the police telling the boy, "You ain't dead yet, you ain't dead yet," and they're shooting. Then a little bit after the gunshot stopped, and I ain't know what play out. Afterwards, you hear gunshot again.
No, then had no shooter. The police coming from at the back, and the boys them were sitting under the shed. So the police already surround the boys them, right? And when they surround the boys them, they tell them to lie down. When they put them to lie down on the ground, they start search them, and the police already shooting going on. The police start shooting the boy. So the boys even had no cause to retaliate or do nothing, because the police then come sudden, come from the back and from the front. They not know if a run, turn, or spin.
Grant's mother said she heard of the shooting in the community and began inquiring about her son, only to find out that he was dead. She said what is worrying is that the police once again claims that her son was in possession of a weapon, and there was a confrontation, but the woman is not buying that story. His grandfather also expressed similar sentiments.
What gun they find? Eh? Me grandson, I mind me grandson for baby. Me grandson they got no needs for thief, none for thief. Me grandson they got no needs for thief, so they can't say me grandson's a thief. I wake up me grandson this morning and say, man, your mother calling you, cause she mother calling, right? I say, man, make his son go for. It's best that he left me grandson for like don't sleep. I just walking meanwhile this going on. It's walk. You just come and call me, say, man, you want something happen? You hear what? I said, no. She said, Shaquille. I said, what? And it's come for you know, my grandson there. They killed my grandson. Tomorrow's the body. Here, tomorrow's my grandson body. But let the police enjoy it, how long it lasts.
Another young man was also injured in the shooting, and he's now receiving medical attention at the GPHC. Residents in the community are calling on the police to be more professional in the conduct of their duties. They spoke of the frequent harassment of young men in the community. In addition to the death of Grant and the injury to another young man, Capital News understands that the police arrested 2 other young men as they continue their investigations into the matter. Reporting for Capital News, Royce and Drake. Troy Greenwich, one of the survivors of the Agricola shooting, said that he had to beg for his life after being told by the police he was next. He said he saw it all unfolding before his eyes on September 11th. Greenwich said that the police came in from the back of the yard and held him up at gunpoint. Greenwich also told the media that Romel Bollers was shot first after reaching into his pocket for his phone.
First person reaching his Romel Bollers. Shoot he, because he saying you want to take out your phone. And he take out your phone. You take out your phone now. The shot fire off. Got through Romel head, so come through and knock Georgie to ribs. And Georgie was on the ground, officer get shot. And the officer like he ain't paying no mind. And when Georgie raising up his head now, for turn for all the years so good. We hear next gunshot. When you hear the next gunshot, I look at Georgie, I see Georgie get a bolt in the forehead, and I see Georgie head go down. Like that, and the man tell me, turn your effing face. And he come to me like, Douglas, your time up. And I start begging for my life just so.
Jamal Henry, another survivor, said that he was inside of his home when he heard a gunshot. He said when he ventured outside, he saw his friend lying on the ground. He said moments later, he saw the police over Shaquille with his gun.
We ain't get off with your own thing. And they tell me friend them me head out to me, man. I go in and lie down, man. And I go in and lie down. And then I go in and I lie down, I hear border in the air. And I jump out back and I get up and I run at the door, so I see Romel down get shoot and lie down upon the ground. When I put him for lie down, I see the man crack him down there upon the ground, down get shoot already down there upon the ground already, and go over and kill him for make sure he there then. Because he must have been there the first shot we didn't give him. And the second shot is killed.
The men are now expressing fear for their lives. Both men said that they are prepared to give their side of the story to the police investigators.
I want my friend get right in this case, eh? And I make sure I give you right. Right, I make sure I give you right. Yet.
The only person shoot is the police. Only the police shoot. Nobody has had no gun for shoot nobody.
Greenwich and Henry were released from the Brigham lockups without being charged. Reporting for Capital News, Royce and Drake.
The clash between the riot police and protesters at Agricola continued into late Thursday evening. Persons who were stranded because of the blocked roadway were not able to get home until after midnight in some cases. The police were only able to push villagers back into the Agricola community and clear the roadway around 10 p.m. And that was more than 5 hours after the protest had started. Some residents said they came out in protest after Dr. Lunchen's statements at the morning press conference that he was ready to rumble with the opposition over Home Affairs Minister Clement Rohi. The opposition parties have been calling on Rohi to go. Agricola residents have been protesting the police shooting death of 17-year-old Shaquille Grant. 3 police officers have been charged with that murder. Just one has been appearing in court, since the other 2 cannot be located. From just before sunset, persons began setting fires to tires on the roadway, bringing vehicular traffic to a grinding halt. The riot police were called out and began their efforts to disperse the crowd. They used tear gas, and the water cannon, after breaking down a few times on its way to the scene, was also added to the mix, but could not offer much assistance as residents fought back. Police say bricks and bottles were hurled at them by the protesters, and one police officer was injured. He was taken to a private hospital for treatment. The police continued with their efforts to clear the vital roadway, and with more tear gas being thrown at the protesters, persons in their homes nearby complained about being affected. Some elderly persons and children, including 2 babies, had to be taken out of the area.
The police come and shoot the tear gas in the house, and the baby get tear gas, and the police come and escort them, and they are drive to hospital.
So where's the condition like of the baby right now?
The baby couldn't breathe when I had it, so I don't know. It's just 7 days old, so I don't know the situation or the condition of the child right now.
Reports also surfaced that a number of persons were robbed and pounced upon as they took various routes through nearby villages to escape what was taking place on the main thoroughfare. While all of that was taking place, government ministers and advisors appeared on state TV and government-friendly TV to begin leveling blame for what was taking place. The president, Capital News understands, was being briefed continuously. Caribbean Airlines later announced that it was forced to cancel 2 of its flights owing to the unrest. A flight heading out of Guyana and another one heading in from Trinidad were cancelled. A number of passengers would have been affected and would not have been able to get to or from the airport during the time of the protests, since the East Bank Carriageway is the only roadway linking the city to the Tamari area. A number of persons and political parties have criticized the protest action and the blockage of the roadway. And the government has also been strongly criticized for the way it has been handling the situation and for some of what its pundits have been saying in the media and on the social networks. For Capital News, Gordon Mosley.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor toward the young. So these people who oppress us, chiefly these so-called white people, they have shown no favor upon us. They have oppressed and murdered us from young to old. They fed our babies to alligators. They kill our young teenage men in the streets every day. They rape our young women. This is the behavior and the attitude and the mistreatment that the so-called white man and these other heathens have showed us, clearly exhibiting that we are under the curses of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. And y'all still don't want to wake up. It's Lamentations 4, starting at verse 18. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. And as you see, this young brother was clearly hunted and couldn't even go in his streets, and the people of that community are clearly fearing for their life because of the police officers that are hunting their steps. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. They pursued us upon the mountaintops. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. The breath of our nostrils, the anointed of the Lord, was taken in their pits, of whom we said, under his shadow we shall live among the heathen. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, talking about you so-called white people, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. This is a reference to the end of the slavery and captivity of so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American. And what will happen, thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, when our punishment is accomplished? Let's find out. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So upon our redemption from this captivity, our chief enemy on the planet Earth, our arch nemesis, the so-called white man, the Edomite that the Bible speaks about, will be visited and will be taken into captivity. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. When will our iniquity be accomplished? When enough of us turn from the iniquity in which that we commit and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai gave us. That's pursuant to this scripture, Deuteronomy 28, starting at verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments, which I commanded thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So keeping these laws, statutes, commandments, listening and doing exactly what the Most High God has instructed us to do, that is what is going to get us from under the hand of our oppressors. That is what is going to free and liberate us as a people. Time is now. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.